Hello and welcome to all the listeners. Thank you so much for joining in. Hope everything is great at your end, and welcome to another enlightening episode of Simply Gita, where we shall discuss the verses which have been mentioned by Krishna in chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. The knowledge of Gita has been flowing since ages and it will continue to do so. This podcast, however, aims to present that knowledge in a manner which can be easily understood by the audience. So without further delay, let us start with chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. The questions of Arjun as well as the answers of Krishna are not yet over. Arjun requests Krishna to explain him about nature, about the one who enjoys nature, about the field and the knower of field, and also about knowledge as well as the object of knowledge. So there are two natures, one that is visible and present all around us, and another nature which is present within us, within the human beings, that is also known as the nature of a person. We often speak about knowledge, but we never try to understand it deeply, and the same will now be explained by Krishna. So answering the questions of Arjun, Krishna tells that the body is the field or the body is the area. So just like in nature, the farmers sow the seeds in a field and it provides them with fruits. In the same way, through our body, we sow the seeds of either the right or the wrong actions, the fruits of which become visible in due time. So the body is the field or the area for the soul. Then God tells that the one who knows this body is called the knower of the field or the knower of the area. This concept can be understood in the following way. There is a difference between the field, that is our body, and the one who knows the field, that is the knower of the body. As we grow from childhood to adulthood, we see that our body is changing, but there is another being which is present within us which does not change, and that being observes all these changes in the body. So that being is the knower of the field, and the knower of the field or the knower of body is nothing but the soul itself. Answering further, Krishna tells that he is the knower of the field in all the bodies, meaning to say that he is the soul in all the bodies. This point is also clear that parts of the supersoul are present in all of us. Further, Krishna tells that in his opinion, knowledge is the understanding of the body and the soul. The ones who understand that there is a difference between the body and the soul, such people are situated in knowledge. God then tells Arjun to hear briefly about the field of actions, that is body, about its origin, its constitution and the changes. God then tells that he shall also shed light on the knower of the body, that is the soul, and impacts of the soul. Krishna tells that many wise sages have described the knowledge of the body and its knower, that is the knowledge of the soul, in different works of Vedic literature. He tells that this knowledge has been described precisely in the Vedanta Sutra with proper reasoning, highlighting the manner in which one thing results in another. The crux of knowledge which is mentioned in the Vedas will now be explained by Sri Krishna in this very chapter. Explaining about the body or the field, Krishna tells that the five great elements, that is fire, water, air, earth and space, the five great elements along with pride, intelligence, the three modes of nature, the 10 senses, 5 senses for acquiring knowledge, that is sight, sound, smell, taste and touch, and the 5 working senses, which is voice, hands, legs, anus and genitals. So Krishna tells that all these things are a part of the field of actions and the interactions that happen in that very field. God tells that the field includes the mind, the 5 sense objects, that is eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, along with desires, sorrows, happiness, pain, opinions, patience, as well as the symptoms of life. All the mediums through which we interact with this material world, all these mediums are a part of the material body or the field. Now Krishna mentions about the 20 points of knowledge or 20 points about the one who knows the field or who knows the body. Krishna tells that humility, that is the person who looks at himself or herself with modesty and is humble. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, ability to tolerate, simplicity, and attitude of service towards the spiritual master, cleanliness in both exterior and interior ways, meaning that along with clean, pure food, the mind should also be pure. Along with them, the state of stillness of the mind are some of the points which are included in knowledge. Further explaining about knowledge, God tells that understanding self-control and practicing detachment or renunciation from the objects that satisfy the senses is also knowledge. When a person is born, then there is a family, a life partner, and children that they become connected to. Krishna tells that absence of anger or false ego and thinking about birth, death, old age, and diseases, practicing freedom from attachment to the family or attachment towards home, and perfect equilibrium in both favorable and unfavorable situations is knowledge. God speaks about freedom from attachment to home because He wants us to understand that if we become attached to our family or to the home, then we start expecting a lot from such people. The people with whom we become attached, we eventually start expecting a lot from them. These expectations trap us, which results in quarrels and hampers the peace of mind. All the God wants to mention is the fact that while being together, we should not be attached to anyone. He is in no way suggesting us to abandon our families. Think of it for a moment. It is the expectations from the other person which usually results in fights, and such expectations arise as a result of attachment. That is why it is said that attachment is the root of evil. When we are willing to give our best to our partner without seeking validation or without seeking a favor in return, then we start practicing detachment. Knower is the one who has knowledge. Explaining more about knowledge, Krishna tells that consistent and pure devotion towards the Supreme, willingness to live in a solitary place, and freedom from attachment to stay with the general mass of the people, that is, freedom from being attached to the general mass of the people, is knowledge. The Lord makes it clear that true knowledge is that which makes a person self-aware or self-realized along with the efforts to know the absolute truth. So Krishna concludes the 20 points of knowledge with the knowledge of the self and the absolute. This knowledge takes us closer to the truth. Krishna tells that other than the points he has mentioned, all others are only instruments of ignorance, and he does not regard anything else as knowledge. One by one, Krishna is revealing the secrets. He tells Arjun that he shall now explain to him about that which can be understood, and once Arjun understands that, he shall obtain the supreme truth. Krishna speaks about the spirit or the soul. He tells that the soul has no beginning and the soul has no end. It lies beyond the reasoning of the material world. After speaking about the points of knowledge, Krishna tells about the soul. It should be noted that understanding our soul is the first step in order to understand the truth about the super soul or the supreme God. Now Krishna speaks about the super soul, which is absolute. Explaining the super soul, Krishna tells that the hands, legs, heads, eyes, faces and ears of the super soul are present everywhere. In this way, the super soul pervades everything in the universe. Just like the earth is surrounded by atmosphere, in the same way, everything in the universe is surrounded by the super soul, or it is present within the super soul. People usually feel bored after hearing such conversations, but knowledge in these domains is undoubtedly very important. Krishna tells that the super soul, in spite of being the source of senses, in spite of being the one who knows the senses in all beings, it is free from such senses. The super soul has no form, and though it is aware of the senses, it is free from them. It is not trapped in the sensual pleasures. Further, Krishna tells that the super soul maintains all the living beings, but it is not attached to any of them. As initially mentioned, there are three modes of material nature. That is the moral mode, the active mode and the dark mode. The details of which will be covered in the next chapter. So Krishna tells that the super soul is the master of the three modes of material nature, but it is beyond these three modes. Throwing more light on the Supersoul or the Supreme Truth, Krishna tells that it exists in the moving and the non-moving, both within and outside living entities. The Supersoul is too subtle for our ordinary material senses to understand. The Lord tells that the Supersoul is at a great distance, but in spite of that, it is still near to all of us. This is because a part of the Supreme Soul is present within us. Krishna tells that the Supersoul is never divided, although it may appear to us that since a part of the Supersoul is within all the beings, so it is divided. God tells that the Supersoul is always one and united. Explaining the three forms of Supreme Divinity, Krishna tells that the Supersoul maintains all the beings, he is Vishnu. The Supersoul develops all beings, he is Brahma, as well as the destructor of all, that is Mahesh. Explaining further, he tells that the Supersoul is the light in all the shining objects, and it is also the unknown dark. Situated in the hearts of all the people, the Supersoul is the knowledge, and also the end goal of the path of knowledge. Krishna tells Arjun that he has explained him about the body or the field of activities, about knowledge, as well as that which can be known, that is the soul or the Supersoul. The true devotees shall be able to understand this knowledge in depth, and they shall eventually obtain peace. Now Krishna explains about nature and the living entities. Only when there is unity between nature and the living entities, there is progress. It makes us wonder that what exactly is nature? Krishna tells Arjun that both material nature as well as living beings have no beginning. That is, they have existed from ages. He tells that development of living entities as well as their modes, that is the three modes, the moral, active and the dark mode, they all are a result of nature. For a moment, think of effects comprising 5 elements, space, wind, fire, water, earth, along with 5 sensual pleasures, that is hearing, touch, sight, taste and smell. Causes include intelligence, mind and pride along with the 5 sense objects, that is eyes, nose, skin, tongue and ears. Krishna tells that both effects as well as causes are a result of nature. These causes and effects, they give rise to happiness or sorrow which are experienced by the living beings. Krishna tells that the living entity lives the life enjoying the 3 modes of nature. As a result of connecting with these modes of nature, there is good and evil. The living entity is surrounded by the modes of nature and it experiences the effects of the material nature. If a person associates with the moral nature, the future is pleasant. On the other hand, if the person is trapped in the dark mode or the mode of ignorance, the future becomes full of sorrow. God tells that within the body, there is another superhuman who is the Lord, the Supreme Owner, who is present within us as the overseer. Since this Lord or the soul is present within us, it is a witness to every act that we commit. It grants us permission, and this soul is also the supreme enjoyer. When we engage in sacrifices, the soul accepts it, and as a result, our soul is merged into the Supersoul. Krishna tells that the person who understands this truth about living beings, the material nature, and the interaction with the modes of nature, such a person surely obtains peace even while indulging in all the daily activities. Krishna has made it clear that a part of the Supersoul is present within all of us. Now he tells that some people become aware of this Supersoul within them through meditation. Some others are able to become aware of this through true knowledge of the self, and some people observe the Supersoul by working without desires, that is by engaging in the yoga of action. There are different ways to obtain peace, and we may choose the one which appeals to us the most. Krishna then tells that there are many people who are not familiar with the spiritual knowledge. That is, these people do not know about the yoga of knowledge, about meditation, or about action without attachment to the results. But even when such people hear about the Supreme from others who are devoted, they also start worshipping the Supreme. Since such people are willing to hear from others, they also start walking on the spiritual path. This is precisely the reason that we should be in good company. If we are with those people who do good, then we will also eventually do good. God tells Arjun that all things which may be moving or non-moving, all of them are in existence as a result of the combination of the field of activities, that is the body, and the knower of this field, that is the soul and supersoul. Here we can think of the body as the horse and the knowledge or the knower as the rope which can be used to control that horse. Without control, the body can never do anything significant. Faith in the supersoul makes it possible for us to walk on the right path. The one which is temporary is certain to be destroyed. God speaks that the person who sees that the supersoul is present with the soul within the destructible body and that neither the soul nor the supersoul can be destroyed, such a person is the one who actually sees the truth. The truth is the fact that while body is certain to die, the soul is immortal. The one who sees that the supersoul is present equally within all the beings and objects, such a person is able to walk the path of true yogi because he does not get addicted to satisfying the desires of the body or the mind. He knows that the supersoul is everywhere, watching every act that he indulges in. As a result, this person never wastes his or her life. Explaining more, God tells that the one who sees that it is the body which performs all actions while the self or the soul never does anything is the one who actually sees the truth. All our activities are performed through the mind, body and the words. Behind these activities there is the nature which makes us perform action. So the wise person knows that it is our nature which is actually making us work and not our soul. Krishna then tells Arjun that the person who doesn't see people as different due to different material bodies, who sees how the supersoul is expanded everywhere and is situated within all, then that person understands the concept of Brahman. Our soul is a part of the Supreme Soul. The soul can never be defined. Since it is unborn, it can never die. It exists beyond nature, and this is the reason that despite being present in the body, the soul is never trapped inside the body. Air or the sky exists everywhere. But it is not possible for us to fill any color in the air or break the air because of its subtle nature. As far as the air is concerned, it is never trapped in anything despite being all-pervading. Just like the air, our soul is also subtle, which is the reason that it is never mixed with the body. Our body is a result of nature, while the soul is something which is beyond nature. When the sun rises, the light and the shine spreads everywhere in the universe. It illuminates the whole universe. In the same way, just like the sun, our soul present in the heart illuminates the entire body through consciousness. Consciousness is basically the awareness and responsiveness to the surroundings. Once the soul leaves the body, there is no consciousness which is left. Krishna further tells that those who know the difference between the body, which is temporary, and the knower, which is permanent, such a person is situated in knowledge. Such people who understand the true nature of the field and its knower, such people are able to attain the supreme destination. Such people are free from the bondage of material world. Although they may indulge in activities, they are never trapped in them. So with this, we have come to the end of the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where we understood about body, about the knower of the body, as well as different points of knowledge. Thank you for joining in. Hope this podcast episode was valuable. Stay tuned for the next episode where we shall meet to explore chapter 14 of the Gita, which shall be very interesting as we will come to know about the 3 modes and how all the actions that we perform are a result of those 3 modes. Take care. Have a great day ahead, and lastly, I just have a request to make. I would appreciate if the audience can let me know the views on the episodes by connecting with me through the links given in the description box. Thank you. Take care.